more important, the top of the head or the boobies? You decide, Internet. Greetings, Internet. My name is Megan, otherwise known as DoomGirlMeg, or DGM, and many other random little nicknames. I have decided to do some video rants, because, frankly, there's some things in the world that piss me off. Number one, people who make sex noises in public restrooms. You know who you are, and if you've witnessed it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know how you're sitting in the restroom and you're just trying to pee so you can go back to dinner without feeling like a water balloon that's about to burst, and from the stall next door you start hearing things like and you're like, oh God, what are they doing in there? I mean, I hope they're just peeing. That's my sincerest wish. I mean, they're in a public place. Okay, I can understand if you're at home and you gotta cut loose, but there's no actual wall. It is a slab of plastic, and there are gaps everywhere through which I can hear your noises of joy as you are releasing your bowels, and I don't think anybody really needs to hear that. I don't think anybody needs to do that. I personally have never gone pee, and it has been that magical. I kind of wish that I had. I mean, it sounds exciting, but keep it to yourself. I'm talking to you. Another thing that's been pissing me off recently is cell phones. Cell phones are an ingenious invention. When you're out in the street, it allows you to call your friends and tell them precisely where you are at that exact moment. But when it comes to public situations, that's as far as that conversation should go. I am sick and tired of sitting in Starbucks trying to enjoy my coffee and then having to hear how the vasectomy went. That should be a conversation that should be kept in a quiet voice, behind a locked door, deep in the forest, not in line at Starbucks. Just because you have a little piece in your ear does not mean that nobody else can hear you, and don't act all incensed if somebody reacts to the conversation you have with an expression like, "We can hear what you're saying," and half the time we can hear what the person on the other end is saying too. So keep that in mind. Another thing is the little tiny cell phone attachments that are completely hidden in the hair, and you have no idea if the person is talking to you, to themselves, or on a cell phone. And you know exactly what I'm talking about when you're sitting in line somewhere and someone behind you is like, "Hey, how's it going?" And you turn around and you're like, "Fine, do I know you?" And then they glare at you and you're like, "What?" And then they're like, it's like, "Oh, okay, you're on the phone." Or sometimes you'll be walking down the street and you'll just see someone laughing their head off and talking about this and that, and you really hope they're on the cell phone. You can usually tell by how clean they are. So, public, I'm charging you with learning responsible public cell phone use. Just because you talk like that when you're at home doesn't mean you should talk like that in a public setting. We can all hear you. Well, dearest Internet, this has certainly been fun, and I hope that you have had fun as well, but I'm afraid it is time for me to go and seek some real human interaction, as you should as well. This is DGM, signing off.